Hey, welcome back to Bible and Blues, and yes, we are finally back to reading more of Rooms. And it has been so long, I actually forgot where I was at, and I had to go back to see what my last video was. I tried to do a video on chapter 12, and we're all the way up to, we're past chapter 14 now. And it has been so long. It was good because I actually read several chapters. So if you miss some stuff, why don't you go ahead and just take a look right up here? No, over here. If you missed some stuff, take a look right here, and you'll see the playlist for Rooms. Okay, so that being said, so we're back to reading Rooms, and we're back to doing Micah Taylor and the software exec. This is a time of the boom of of the turn of the millennium, and there's some languages here that are a little different because compared to what you might be used to. Yes, every now and then they'll talk about CDs, which, and then we're not talking about certificates of deposit. We're talking about CDs such as, music CDs, which we don't use anymore. Actually, I still buy them every now and then. But, and so, things like that. But on the other hand, there's some good stuff happening here. And because we're talking about things that are just human nature to a certain extent. So let's get back into it. We're going to be doing Rooms chapter 15. Get it right, Cameron. So let's do Rooms chapter 15. Now, in previous chapters, he had been opening up the letters that his great uncle Archie had left him. And so he had just read the last one, and he just had to drive back up into Seattle in order to basically have meetings all day because he still has a company to run, even though his ex Julie is really running most of the day-to-day operations. So, chapter 15. Well, 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 Mr. Taylor, welcome to Rimsoft, Shannon said to Micah as he walked past her antique Georgian walnut desk on Friday morning. So nice to have you come visit our little company during the month of June. Ha! Michael stopped and sat in the burgundy leather chair next to Shannon's desk and fumbled for the right words. If God had really talked to him and made the get ready comment, it had to be about Rimsoft. And if anyone knew about strange events inside the company, it'd be Shannon. Anything unusual been going on around here? Rumors I should know about? No. Why? Micah shrugged. No reason. Shannon turned back to her computer and squinted at the screen. But her right ear slowly rose a quarter inch, telling Micah she wasn't seeing anything. You want to know the reason? Only if you want to tell me, boss. This place down in Cannon Beach is making changes in me. Maybe good ones. Micah shifted in his seat and smoothed out his pants. But I can't lose any control of my world up here. And I had a feeling that there might be some different things going on. Just need to make sure we're smooth up here. Understand? Shannon tapped the watch on Micah's wrist. A quorum doesn't run any smoother. Thanks. Micah stood and winked at her before heading into his office. At noon, Micah's laptop chimed twice. Time to check and see if Rimsoft was playing nice with all the other kids on the NASDAQ. He pushed the Federal Trade Commission's papers needing his signature to the side. Get big and a company gets targeted, whether anything illegal is done or not. Maybe Rimsoft has skirted the edge of ethical, but not so badly they deserve this current hassle. Micah checked Rimsoft's stock price 3 times a day, at 8 in the morning, noon, and at market close. He told himself it was just a game, that it didn't matter if he was up or down. And at first it had been true. When Rimsoft first went public, he checked twice a week. Once on Tuesdays and at the close on Friday. But after the stock streaked heavenward faster than a bottle rocket, and his net worth went along for the ride, he started checking daily. It became an obsession. Micah punched up the stock on the computer. What? He felt the blood drain from his face. He shook his head, as if he'd just woken from a dream or a nightmare, and he slammed the button on his phone. Yes? What's going on with the stock, Roger? Hi, Micah. I heard you're back for a few. What in the name of all that is holy is going on with my stock? Micah stood and paced behind his desk, but didn't take his eyes off the speakerphone. I'm not sure what you mean. We're up a full point over last week, and the volume's been good. And long-term options on the stock indicate up a point from where? Thursday afternoon we closed at 83 1/4, and this morning we're 62 3/4. Did someone not tell me about a 3-for-1 split? Roger sighed on the other end of the line. Do I get an answer? I don't know what you're after here, but what What am I after? Micah snatched the phone out of his cradle and growled into the phone. I want to know why my net worth just dropped by almost $15 million. I want to know how it's possible for the stock to drop 20 points between Thursday at 1:30 p.m. and Friday at 11:45. I want to ask for my CFOs why millions of dollars have just covered themselves with magical invisibility power and poof, disappeared. I'm going to act for a moment like you're serious. Okay. Micah drew out the word as his knuckles turned white from his grip on the phone. Humor me. The stock has never traded for more than 74 and a quarter. Ever. Heck, we're only off our 3-year high by 5 points. And it looks, Micah hung up and clicked his mouse. A graph popped up on the screen showing Ripsoft's 3-year high was 72 and 3/8. The low was 14. He grabbed his temples and pressed hard. He's tried taking 3 deep breaths, but didn't succeed. He buzzed Shannon. I need the hard copies of our monthly statements on the stock price for the past 6 months. I'd appreciate it if you could do it quickly. They're all in the computer. I need the hard copies, Shannon, right now. He slammed the phone into his cradle. $15 million gone. Something smacked into Micah's desk 30 seconds later. By the time he looked up, Shannon had turned away and was walking back to her desk without comment. He dug through the reports knowing what he'd find, but he ripped through them anyway and finished by sweeping the pile off the edge of his desk. Terror hammered at his mind as they fluttered to the floor. Micah picked up the phone. It slipped from his fingers and rattled on his desk. He picked it up again and hit 6 on speed dial. Hello to you. Rick's Gas and Garage. Devin, it's Micah. I have to talk to Rick. Hey, Micah. Good to hear from you. What's going on? How are... I got to talk to him now, Devin. Oh, sorry. He ran up to Seaside to pick up parts we need right away, so we're going to have to wait or talk to me, I guess. Have him call me on my cell the instant he gets back, okay? Sure. Micah rubbed his hands back and forth on his thighs as he stared at the ticker symbols that streamed across the bottom of his computer screen. Normal volume. Nothing unusual about the Dow or the S&P. Rimsoft's stock was steady, riding little waves up and down. Micah pulled 2 Wall Street analyst predictions for the stock. All said Rimsoft stock was a good bet, even though it traded at near its all-time high. Nothing indicated it ever traded as high as 83. What was happening? He begged God to talk to him. A bead of sweat meandered down his right temple. He wiped it away and stared at the moisture on his fingertips. After the 3rd trickle of perspiration, he tried Rick again to no avail. Micah grabbed his coat and walked out the door. Shannon, I gotta go. I'm going back down to the beach. You're leaving? You just got here. What about this afternoon's meetings? He was 4 steps toward the elevator when her question registered in his fog-filled mind. What? He turned and looked a half step to the side to keep from stumbling. Are you okay, Micah? He swallowed and resisted the panic that pressed in. No, yes, I'm fine. She pursed her lips as though she were about to whistle and squinted at him. I'm okay, really. I'll be back up in a week. Then we'll do the meetings then. I'll give you a buzz Monday. I just need to deal with something right now. There had to be a reason for the stock drop. You'd find it. The answer to your panic is at the beach? It was after I read something down there that things got weird. Shannon frowned. What's been getting weird? I'll talk to you Monday. He jogged toward the elevator, then reached for the button. He didn't push it. Instead, he walked back to Shannon. Sorry for yelling when I asked for the stock reports. It's just that Micah stopped his gaze from flitting around her desk and settled on her. No excuses. I was a jerk, and I'm really, really sorry. He walked out of his building and looked to the left, then the right. Where should he go? Who could he talk to? Julie? No way. Not with the current tension between them. Besides, what if her response is the same as Roger's? She'd accuse the beach of sucking away his sanity and want to get the board involved. Talk to his dad? Yeah, right. His dad would be convinced Archie's house was making him dance on the tightrope of psychosis. And since he might be right, Micah didn't want to hand his father additional ammo to knock him off the wire. Other friends came to mind, but there were none he could truly open up to. How could he tell his basketball buddies he just lost more than $15 million with no tangible evidence to back it up? He fired up his car and screeched out of Rimsoft's parking lot. As his BMW eased onto I-5, he reflected on how depressing it was that the only person he trusted was a man he'd met just 8 weeks earlier. When a person's on top of the world, he doesn't need anyone. But now Micah was sliding down the mountain and running out of rope. Rick's number lit up on the caller ID on Micah's cell phone just before he reached Longview. He threw his Bluetooth over his ear. Finally, we got to talk. What's going on? I'm headed down I-5 back to Cannon Beach and down the path of lunacy at the same time, wishing I wasn't taking the trip solo, Micah said. Tell me. When I checked our stock price yesterday, it was at 83 and a quarter. This morning was 62 and 3/4, and everyone at Ribsaw thinks that's perfectly normal. No chance you're wrong about yesterday? No way. Micah pulled into the left lane and kicked his BMW up to 75. Hard copies? They changed. Changed? How could they change? Exactly. I have no clue. Micah veered right to pass a sluggish RV hogging the left-hand lane. But I know the stock was in the low 80s yesterday, and today it wasn't. It isn't. I've lost almost $15 million in less than 24 hours. That's some serious coin. Something in Rick's tone caught Micah's ear. You know what's going on, don't you? Rick stayed silent, so Micah asked again. Silence. Come on, Rick, if you know something, talk to me. What's going on? I'm not crazy, but this isn't the first. Micah paused and squeezed the bridge of his nose. The first what? Weird things have been happening. Quirky things. Like my car gaining an instant 16,000 miles, which you say we'll talk about someday. Like a couple of months back, my racquetball partner completely forgets a match we played. Claims it never happened. Like calling a guy I met at a party to talk business, and he forgets meeting me. We talked for 15 minutes at that party. I'm not that forgettable. No, you're not. Two different guys forgetting being with me is odd. My car gaining mysterious miles is bizarre. But seeing my company's stock drop 20 points in one day, and no one knows it but me, is not odd. It's Twilight Zone and X-Files in a double pack. Up front, in living color. Here's what I know for certain, Rick said. God is sovereign. That's an intellectual way of saying he's in control and knows what he's doing. Not the answer I was looking for. I know. You're used to having complete control and all the answers to your life in an instant. This time the answers will flit just beyond your fingertips. It will take time to catch them. That's it? I need more than that, Rick. One more thing that's pretty obvious. The Lord is a better choice to talk to than me. Yeah, their talk helped. Not near enough, but enough. The rest of the drive he alternated between trying to pray and keep a lid on his imagination. On one hand, he believed God was in control. On the other, if his net worth changed that quickly, what else could be turned on its side over a weekend? And would God be the cause of it, or just allow it? He had to get control of this. He had to keep eyes of an eagle on that stock. The coming week would be a monotonous marathon of tension. And that ends chapter 15. So, a couple of things I kind of wanted that I keyed into here towards the end. And I think we're all guilty of this whole concept of God being in control versus us. And we're so accustomed to God, to ourselves being in control. And I think this is a uniquely Western civilization thing. We want to be in control. And to say that God is in control of things and we're not, we can say it and even intellectually know it until something happens where we're not in control and those things are happening. And this is, of course, while we're dealing with a level of fiction here, I fully believe God could do all these things. And he did ask an interesting question here. Was God the cause of it or just allow it? Okay, and so these are questions that we need to ask when hard times do come. Is God causing this? Or is he just allowing these things to happen because we have a lesson we have to learn, or something has to happen to cause another thing to happen? And so, when we think things are hard and, yes, life gets very, very difficult, how do we react to these things? So anyway, you tell me, how do you feel about these things when these kind of things happen? How do you react to these things happening? Are you turning to God and asking for God's help on these things? Or are you trying to take things in control for yourself? Um, how do you think Micah is going to react to this? Here's a guy who's always been in control of the whole thing. So now he's not in control. How is he going to react? How do you think he's going to react? So stay tuned, and you have a great day. God bless.